pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of June 1, 2020?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve appropriations ordinance number 23?
I move we approve number 23.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Declare the public input session open for any items not on the agenda. Do you have any online? Okay, I'll ask the bench if they have anything.
Maybe you think?
Okay, I have something. I would like to acknowledge a peaceful Black Lives Matter march and rally, unity rally at Lakeside Park Band Shell on Saturday afternoon. I want to thank Molly Anderson, Summer Van Pelt, and the rest of the planning group. Did a good job. We had to have between 300 and 400 people at that rally, which was a little bit surprising. I think our rally was bigger than the one in Hutchinson, from what I'm told, but I wasn't at Hutchinson, so I don't know. Also want to thank the police department. I think they did a great job of organizing and laying out the route where we could have a nice march to the band shell. I want to acknowledge the park department for the use of the band shell, and we had restrooms on standby if needed. I want to thank the CVB for water for the PA system and what they did. I want to thank the street department for the work they did on the barricades and all that happened there. I hope I didn't miss anyone. By and large, I think people shared the hurts of their past. And it's a little bit difficult when you've never been in that situation, I think, to understand those hurts. There were a number of compliments to the city of McPherson. Only one 5 years ago where people used the N-word as a group had just moved here, was driving around town to just see the town. And in some ways I can't imagine that, but unfortunately, stupid things happen on this. So I think overall it was good for the community. I think it was good for the group. And there are always going to be a few dissenters, and that's okay, you know. The Constitution gives everybody a right to give their opinion. That's one of the great things about this country, and sometimes one of the frustrating things about this country. But it's difficult for us to understand some of those past things. And one of the speakers talked about they're the only cultural group, I believe that's the term he used, that came over in a boat. Well, other than a few of my ancestors that were born here, most of the people came over in a boat, different ships. But today, we're all in the same boat. And we have to learn how to steer that boat correctly and how to work to get to where we need to go. And I said it on Saturday, and I want to say it again this morning. I do not believe that this problem can be solved with human ingenuity. I think we need divine intervention. And if we're not willing to check where we are individually with where God would have us be, we'll keep having the problem. It will ebb and flow, and we won't solve it. So that means if you become a new person, then you got to check yourself continually. Are you walking the talk? And if you're not walking the talk, what are you willing to do about it? And if you are walking the talk, is there any way you can be a little bit better? Can you help somebody else? I don't believe throwing police departments under a bus. Statistics will show there's only about 1.2, 1.3% of bad cops. If we took the percentage of people, a lot of the people that commit violent crimes, I don't care what race you are a small percentage of the whole group. We can't throw people under the bus. We're not going to throw a police department under the bus. We do not have a problem in our police department. Do we have some people in town that are not where they should be in terms of racism? Absolutely. That's where we need to grow up and become different. But even with those, they're few and far between. The history of this town has had terrific black families. And they've done a great job in the community. And we need to look more to those people than the people primarily outside of here that do not want to walk any kind of talk. Anarchy, chaos is not a solution. Thank God that over the weekend, most of the demonstrations nationally and in Europe were peaceful. This is a global thing right now. Don't expect it to evaporate quickly. But I think it maybe was Martin Luther King on the quote, "We may have come in different ships, but we're all in the same boat." Maybe Martin Luther King was smarter than us. And we just need to keep on trying to be better and to make the kinds of changes that need to be made. But the bulk of what we're doing here in McPherson, I believe, has been very positive. And I hope that we will continue to refine our game, to get better, and to be welcoming to anyone. And I hope that for the school district, I hope that for the citizens. And we will do our best to keep on trying to improve, to keep on keeping on. KO, KO. Keep on keeping on. If we need to refine our training anywhere, we will, but as I said on Saturday, we take a comprehensive approach to training in a police department and to building relationships. And we've had a number of programs over the last few years to try to reach out to the community regardless of who you are, and build a relationship. And we're going to continue to do that. Even for the nasty emails that we get, we're still willing to reach out and build a relationship. So, relationships are two-way. You can't have a relationship if only one party wants a relationship. My one story for today is my oldest son is in the Navy in Yokosuka, Japan. He's still in the Navy. Someday he'll get smart. That's for you, Chief. Yeah. But we went over there to visit, and there was inadequate base housing. So he lived out in town in what ended up to be a very nice Japanese neighborhood. And the situation was, do you take your little girl that's going to be in kindergarten, the youngest of the two, to the base real early, or do you let her go to the neighborhood school, which was 3 blocks away? So they chose to let her go to the neighborhood school. And Mom walked her up there every day and met her when school was over and come back. When we visited, she said, "Grandpa, you got to see my class picture." She ran in the bedroom and came out with his photograph. And she said, "I'll bet you can't find me." I looked at the photo. I have a little white granddaughter with tow blonde hair, surrounded by about 30 Japanese kindergartners. She stood out like a sore thumb. But to her, she was just like them. A little kid going to school. What happens to us when we're a little loving kid that can't see a difference? To adults with all our bias. Part of that's what we do in our families. Part of it's what we do in our schools. Part of it's what we do in our churches. Tony Evans yesterday, in a message that he said from the heart, said, and he's a pastor, our churches have failed us. We're not doing anything to even talk about the program. That has to change. I have a good friend who was an employee at Sedgwick County. He was a lay pastor, and now he's taken a job in corrections because he wants to help people that are in that situation, and also as the pastor of Rock Christian Fellowship Church that meets in, I believe, Andover right now. He's a big black guy. He played linebacker for Oklahoma Sooners. He has a tremendously golden voice. Sherdell Bredeth. And several years ago, he came up here and I showed him around this municipal building. Told him he was always welcome. And then we walked over to Main Street, and we walked Main Street. While we walked Main Street, we prayed for everybody whenever they're in Main Street during the day, the business owners, everybody else. Black leader, praying for Whitetown. That's what we need. We've prayed for Galva. We've prayed for Canton. If we do things like that, we can solve the problem. Everybody knows the problem. The problem is, in dealing with that problem, we can't agree on a solution. So maybe this is the time we agree on a solution. Sorry it took so long, but I'll declare the public input session closed. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, first on the agenda is Jan Nolte, Swindle, Jansen, Hawken, Lloyd. And she comes from her annual visit. Actually, she's been here more than annually. She's been here too often in the last 4 or 5 months. But that's all to get the background work so we could do this today. So, all is yours, Jan.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come this morning and present the audit report. And I think we have copies here. I believe you all had the PDF copy sent to you ahead of time, so you had time to review it. So if you have any questions as I'm going through here, please jump in and ask any questions that you might have. I did bring hard copies with me today. If you want to look through those while I'm talking here. I will first talk the communication letter, which is the loose letter that is in your bound copy. Just a few points that I wanted to make here. The first few pages, our standards, our auditing standards do require that we communicate to the governing body a few things. Any items on the bottom of the first page, if there were any difficulties encountered during the audit, we would have noted those. And so we're just telling you here that there were no difficulties encountered. The top of page 2. If there were any corrected or uncorrected misstatements, we would have noted those. So we're again telling you that there were none of those. Disagreements with management, we haven't had no disagreements with management, so we're letting you know that as well. And then just a few other things that were required, other matters that were required to, that our standards says to communicate. And then in the middle of page 3, points, prior year points revisited, we're letting you know that there were no 2018 points to revisit, and there were no current year 2019 points. So we're letting you know that there were no new points as well as prior year points. On page 5, we present graphs in a 5-year presentation. So the financial statements are just current year, which is 2019, that was audited, compared to 2018. And so the graphs are just a 5 years. So they just give you a little bit different presentation. Unencumbered cash balances, and we just selected a few that we think might be of interest. So giving you the ending, the December 31 balances there, so you can kind of compare in some of your different funds to see where those are at. So that is what is also listed on page 6, another selection of some funds. Page 7, 7 and 8, and 9, and then I believe on page 10, your wastewater system. We have chose there to show your cash receipts, expenditures, operating transfers, and unencumbered cash balances in that particular fund. Are there any questions on the communication letter?
I think so.
Not a lot to report, so that goes pretty quickly. On the financial statement, I don't know if you had a chance to look through that or have any questions on that. I won't spend a lot of time. This is historic information. I know you receive reports every month on your current information on where you're at. And so this is just your 2019 information that we did audit. The first couple of pages is just the independent auditor's report. That is our report. And then on page 3 is the summary statement of receipts, expenditures, and unencumbered cash. And I know you get some good reports, but that is just your summary information. And then the notes to the financial statement start on page 5. So I won't go over every page unless you had a particular question on anything.
I think so.
No, you can go on.
Okay?
Good.
Well, that is, that's all that I had then, unless you had any questions on anything. I don't know if there were any comments that Nick or Johnetta wanted to make about any of the,
Janetta always has a comment.
I'm not quiet. Well, I would just like to thank Jan and her team on my first audit with the city of McPherson. And I can say with COVID and working remotely and doing the audit virtually, it did present some challenges just from not being face-to-face and having maybe a short conversation that took maybe 6 or 7 emails. So just wanted to thank her and her team. They did a great job, and we're very patient with Richard and I and staff on obtaining information. And so hopefully we'll be past that next year and be able to do more face-to-face audit. But I do want to thank her and her team for all their hard work on this, and all our department heads and anybody that was involved in gathering data. And I will be sending out electronic copies and putting it out on the website for anybody that wants to view it. So a lot of good information in there, as well as the graphs that correlate to the information that we provide to you on a monthly basis. So thank you, Jane.
I want to give a thank you to you, Janetta, and to Richard, because you spent a lot of countless hours. You, as far as timeliness of the audit, we haven't been as timely in getting information in past years, and this year you guys were really on it. You guys were on your game. You got stuff as you needed, and we really appreciate all the work you guys put into it.
Yeah, I do think it's, I want to acknowledge Janetta, Richard. I think we did a much better job this year in-house of getting the information. We appreciate being done in early June instead of mid-July on this. There's still, I think we should have a working meeting, because we need to maybe get a little bit more efficient again. And so hopefully we solved most of your problems this year. Now we need to figure out how we can work with you to solve a couple of our problems where we don't have it stated in the right format or something going forward, so we don't have to do it at audit time. But this has been a really much better work than in the past several years. So
I agree.
yes.
congratulations
Very good.
Oh.
to you and the
Thank you.
staff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate all the help that was provided, because it was done timely, really timely this year. We had a lot of challenges with doing remote audit, and it was a little bit of extra on everybody's part in scanning things and emailing them to us as we requested, and they were very timely in getting that all to us. So we didn't have to wait on anything, so they just got things right back to us, and we really appreciate
Good job.
that, because it didn't hold us up at all. So
Terrific.
we really appreciate all their
All right.
help.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I would like to make the motion to accept the 2019 audit.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now we're official. Okay, I'd like to call on Chief Golden. Not everybody has a Golden Chief.
Well, good morning. I have one item, and it's a motion to approve payment to Superior Automotive and Transmission for repairs to the air conditioning on Patrol Unit 15 for an amount not to exceed $1,497.23. This is, they took a look at the car and they figured out there was an evaporator core that went out. The parts, about $380, but it's labor because they have to take the whole dash apart. We went to Midway to see if they could do it, and it was a little over 2,000, so just going through that.
I'd like to move to approve the payment to Superior Automotive and Transmission for repairs to the air conditioning Patrol Unit 15 for an amount not to exceed $1,497.23.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move down to Public Works.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Just have one item for your consideration on the Hulse area drainage project, the contract with Cornell Construction, change order number 3. During the installation of the sanitary sewer on Hulse, North High Drive to Crescent, the edges of the existing asphalt started to crumble. It appeared the best solution was to fill clear to the top with concrete. The original plan was to fill with concrete up to the top 2 inches and then fill the top 2 inches with asphalt. This change order compensates the contractor for the extra 2 inches of concrete installed for a total cost of $5,346, and underruns the asphalt a total of $9,600, which resulted in a net contract reduction of $4,254. We will have to overrun the concrete milling on the overlay of Hulse, but it'll still be an overall savings.
Good. Yeah, I move that we approve change order number 3 for the Hulse area drainage project with Cornejo Construction to increase the thickness of the pavement patch from 6 to 8 inches and decrease the asphalt quantity for an overall contract reduction of $4,254, and authorize the mayor to sign the change order.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now I'd like to give you an update on the construction projects we have ongoing. We had a great week last week. First, an update on the Grimes-Anna Street reconstruction. The curb and gutter, the tie-ins and all the sidewalk on Grimes, Loomis to Hulse was completed. The street schedule is, the street placement is scheduled to start today and be completed this week. Grimes Street is completely closed from Loomis to Hulse. Hulse Street is closed to through traffic from Grimes to North High Drive. Next, an update on the Hardup Elizabeth Street reconstruction project. Grimes Street, Hancock south 350 feet, concrete placement of driveway, sidewalk, and the street was completed last week. Elizabeth Street, all excavation and subgrade compaction on Elizabeth Street was completed. Hardup Street, Avenue A to Hancock is still closed to through traffic with local access from Avenue A and sites. Through traffic on Hardup is detoured onto Park Street, and Elizabeth, Hardup to Park is completely closed. Next, an update on the Hulse area drainage project. Work continued on the retaining wall, Myers to Crescent. Ditch liner was placed from just east of Myers to southeast of the Hulse North High Drive intersection, and the base was placed for the box at Wheeler. Hulse Street is still closed to through traffic, Grimes to North High Drive. Crescent Lane and Wheeler Street both closed, Hulse to Normandy. First Street will be closed today between the high school and North High Drive. First Street will be closed until, scheduled to be closed until the 9th of August. Traffic will be detoured on Maxwell, Kansas Avenue and Main Street. An update on the Plaza East Street reconstruction project. The retaining wall is completed. The fence was moved to its permanent location in Orchland's parking lot. The temporary drive into Days Inn and Holiday Inn Express was removed, and the cleanup and seeding has now been completed. The project is now complete. We have a walkthrough scheduled for later today. Next, an update on the Chestnut Street Improvement Project. The subcontractor installing the sanitary sewer had to pull off the project while a revised plan was completed for the storm sewer installation. We have a workable solution, and the contractor is scheduled to return to work today. The street will remain closed, or remain open to through traffic during construction when possible, but the street parking will be very limited. There will be times when the street will be closed, but residents still should be able to access either end of the block of the closure. I'd like to remind everyone that weekly construction updates, road closures and detours, planned road closures and planned detours are available on the city's website at www.mcpcity.com. That's all I have unless there are any specific questions.
I think so.
No, good progress.
Yep.
Okay, the next item is a request for advertising for KNGL, KBBE on a new program that they would like to run in June, July, and August. And the name of that program is Reigniting McPherson County. We've been asked as a city if we would participate in this program. We would put together either 50 or 100 30-second ads each month, and we can promote local business in our ads, even though we're not a business, and also promote the activities that we're having to reignite the community. And so there are two options. One is 50 ads a month at $350 a month, or 100 ads, they're 30-second ads, at $450. And so we'll have some discussion. We brought this straight to commission because it's already June. But what are your feelings to be able to help the community and advertise us to be able to reignite what's going on in the reopening?
Well, I think that, to start with, I think it's a good idea to promote McPherson. I'm not totally sure that this is the way to go, but somebody has to start it, and I guess I'm glad that KNGL, KBBE stepped up and made the offer to us. And I guess I'd like to hear from the other commissioner and the mayor as to what their thoughts are on it.
I tend to agree with you on that, Larry. I'm not sure KNGL, KBBE is the route that we should go, but I also want to support our local radio station to some degree. So I'm not totally opposed to that.
I'm for putting it out there. I think it would be good for the city to be involved in promoting local business and asking people to shop locally. I think it's important for us to promote our activities via the radio station with our movies in the park, our other items, our fireworks show, anything that we have coming up in each month, to let people know there are things for them to get out and do. And the big question is, for me, do you want to go with 50 ads or 100 ads each month?
I know that June's already here, but I guess I'd like to start with option one, which would be 50 30-second ads.
I agree with that.
Okay,
See if I don't know how this is going to be put together or who's going to be putting it together, but I see a couple of ladies at the back of the room that both of them have smiles on their face, so I'm going to have to depend on them to do probably a lot of the legwork on this program. Does that work for you?
sure.
Yes, may I say something?
Sure.
I haven't talked to Joe Gender, I think that might be the mayor. I'm talking to him tomorrow about this. But we do have some, CBB does have advertising dollars
Good.
set back that we haven't used too many, but we wanted to start advertising out to bring people in. So
Will this fit your budget at $350 a month?
that would fit our budget.
Okay.
If you want us to take care of that.
I would like to move that we contract with KBBE, KNGL for the Reignite McPherson County program, and we do it through the Convention Visitors Bureau budgeted advertising funds, and that we promote not only what we will be doing from a governmental entity, but we promote local business and shopping local.
I'd second that.
Okay, any further discussion?
I guess I'd ask that when you're in discussion with them, we get maybe like into the 20th or so of this month, if things look like they're working for us, maybe we can go into July and come back with another motion to do July as well. Check with them and see if that'll work.
This is for 3 months.
Oh, I thought it was
Yeah, no,
just
it's
June.
No, it's June, July, and August.
Oh, okay, I see that now.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Then
And
I,
everybody could let us know if they have something they want us to promote. We're not just gonna promote CBB stuff, like the police, the fire, they're doing an event, let us know, because I think we need to promote
Yeah.
ourselves as well as
okay,
Right.
local businesses.
Right,
Is that what you're thinking?
yeah, and we've got a program coming up with using fireworks safely through the fire department and other things, so we want to promote those kinds of things too. But we do want to encourage people to shop local.
yeah.
Okay.
I call for the vote.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll do it. Now I gotta get back out of here. Well, what a wonderful place. What's the next thing? Let me read yours. This thing's not moving.
Be the administrative approval from McPherson County Coalition.
Okay, who, do you want to, give that?
Yeah.
Richard sometimes here, but he's not here today.
No. ESG grant reimbursement request number 10 has been received. It's for $8,542.24, which brings our 2019 ESG grant running total to $94,055.00, which is 100% of the grant awarded. Just as a reminder, this is a July 1 to the end of June grant. This grant includes $2,475 in allowable local government administration fees, which we traditionally have passed back through to the McPherson Housing Coalition as part of that payment. This final reimbursement for ESG grant for fiscal year 2019. And we have been talking, we do expect that there will actually be an increase based upon some coronavirus funding that'll allow us to do a little bit more, hopefully this upcoming year, to address some of the homeless prevention programs that are associated with that Emergency Solutions Grant is what that stands for. With that, we just ask for a motion to go ahead and authorize reimbursement and have the mayor sign the related documents as it relates to that.
I'll make the motion to approve the payment to McPherson Housing Coalition for the ESG grant reimbursement request number 10 in the amount of $8,542.24, and authorize the mayor to sign the related documents.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next item, we received some really good news last week. The city of McPherson was selected as one of the cities. We were one of 66 cities to receive 2020 Small Cities Community Development Block Grant coronavirus funds in the amount of $132,000 that allow us to assist McPherson businesses with eligible working capital costs associated with economic recovery for COVID-19 pandemic. The original application was for $300,000. Unfortunately, we weren't funded all the way, but for that, but no cities were I think the cap on it was, I think the most I saw was 190,000, and it was for a specific, I think some of those were specific purposes, specific industries that they were hoping to save in some other communities. So the lion's share of most communities actually got 132,000. So it's we were right in line with where most of the funds came, and some were as low as 44,000. So we were in the middle somewhere. And but regardless, we're very grateful to be able to have those funds, and we'll be able to award those after we've filled out all the additional requirements that Kansas Department of Commerce requires. A preliminary inquiry was sent, did identify 22 businesses in McPherson that identified and told me that they had potential needs and that they thought they were eligible. So the city of McPherson should, first thing they need to do is take several steps to secure those funds. The first thing we need to do is execute an agreement with the Kansas Department of Commerce to secure the grant and guarantee the proper distribution of funds. In addition, the city should also authorize a contract agreement with Ranson Financial Group LLC for administration services for an amount not to exceed $7,500. I did talk with the person over at Ranson Financial's grant department, and if you look at the budget on here, it shows $12,000 is what they granted us for administration. But we had conversations on Friday, and the grant administrator agreed. Obviously they've reduced the amount that we received, and we thought that was a fair amount, and she actually volunteered to go down to the $7,500, which I thought was very notable. And she said if there's any opportunity to get some additional funds out to our community, she'd be very much in favor of that. So I thought that was a very fair amount to settle on. The total amounts available for distribution of businesses with that taking out that $7,500 is $124,500. The city will work with a modified schedule to assure funds will have an optimum impact for the most amount of local businesses. We will sit down. I do have a Q&A session with the Department of Commerce later this week, and I want to talk to them a little bit about how we could potentially do that. But I see us originally, I wanted to put out potentially the maximum amount for a minimum for equivalent to what they would reimburse for an employee. We may want to look at reducing that so we can take advantage of as many businesses as we can. So I'll bring to you a concept of how we divide those funds out and make those available.
Okay.
But that likely won't come until mid-June because there are a number of environmentals and paperwork that they will require. So I think come close to mid-June, we'll make an announcement of an application process that will be developed that'll be an equal opportunity for all potential eligible McPherson businesses to apply. And the way I see that happening is we would publicly announce a number of days in advance that the application would be released. You could go online and fill that out, and we will make those applications available on a first-come, first-served basis, and everybody will be given a full announcement of it in advance. So as we get those applications in, we'll review those applications in the order that they're received by us. So, but I have much more details coming up. I'll make sure we announce that fully in advance of that. We'll get it out to everybody, that every location where potential businesses might try to find that. I also have a list of emails for all the businesses that have indicated they have interest already, and we'll try to get that word out to them as well to give them enough time. And so when we do release the application, it'll all be at one time, and everybody will have that same opportunity.
Good.
Okay,
Okay.
could we have a motion to approve grant agreement 20-CV-044 between the city and the Kansas Department of Commerce?
So I move that we authorize Mayor Brown to sign the grant agreement number 20-CV-044 between the city of McPherson and the Kansas Department of Commerce.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. And then I also authorize Mayor Brown to execute an agreement with Ranson Financial Group LLC for grant administration services related to the CDBG-CB grant.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You want to do the investment, and then we'll go to the hearing 15 minutes late.
We have one investment, and that's with First Bay Kansas. It is one CD in the amount of $1 million. It's a 12-month CD at 0.28% interest. It would mature on June 5th of 2021.
I move that we approve the investment.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, here at 9:15, we want to open the public hearing and special assessment authorization for Eagles Wings Estates Unit 2, Phase 1 and Phase 2, street and sanitary sewer improvements.
I just, do you wanna hit this, or do you want me to? We didn't really discuss this before.
I'd like to talk.
That's right. Come on down, Blondie. You got a hair color for a swim team.
Oh, yeah, I need to make that appointment, but they're all backed up. Well, good morning, Commissioners, again. I just want to talk a little bit about the special assessments and the process that we've gone through. Today is the public hearing, and on May 18th, the McPherson City Commission authorized the mailing of the assessment notices and established a public hearing, which is what we're doing currently, to hear any objections on the special assessments being issued in association with the Eagles Wings Estates Unit 2, Phase 1 and 2. This was street improvements and sanitary sewer improvements. And I just do want to point out a couple things that were sent out to those owners of those properties. The final cost that was in the information that you guys approved back on May 18th was the first one, which was the Eagles Wings Unit 2 Phase 1, which was the street improvements under Resolution 18-20. The final cost of that project was $30,609.83. Eagles Wings Estate Unit 2 Phase 1, which was the sanitary sewer improvements, was a total cost of $92,982.38. Eagles Wings Unit 2 Phase 2, which was the street improvements, was a total cost of $685,019.79. And then the final project was Eagles Wings Unit 2 Phase 2, which is the sanitary sewer improvement, at $61,911.23, for a total final cost of $1,140,523.23. And of that, the Eagles Wings Estates Unit 2 Phase 1 street improvements, the final proposed for the two lots that are included in that was $79,538.53, and the other two lots, and this is all the disability supports portion. That's the reason there's only the two lots. For the sanitary sewer improvement, each lot will be assessed at $24,634.43. And in the Eagles Wings Unit 2 Phase 2, the street portion, which will be assessed over those lots, a total of $11,688.01. And the sanitary portion, which was 5 lots, will be assessed $6,672.14. And that was all mailed out to each property owner in those developments.
And that's divided out over a 20-year period.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, any
That's all I had
questions
to
for
add.
Janetta?
I don't have any.
Okay, I would like to move that we accept the report of the financial assessments.
I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and now we need an ordinance number 3336 to levy the special assessments, if somebody would like to make that motion.
Were there any comments from the public?
Yeah, that's what we need.
I didn't do the public. Okay. Okay, we can move to the motion.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance number 3336, an ordinance levying special assessments on certain property to pay the cost of internal improvements in the city of McPherson, Kansas, as heretofore authorized by resolution numbers 1820, 1821, 1905, and 1906 of the city, and providing for the collection of such special assessments, and authorize Mayor Brown to sign the ordinance.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I would like to recess the city commission meeting and move to the study sessions at the commission meeting, and we are at the McPherson Water Park season opening. I would like to make a motion and then have discussion. I would like to move that we open the water park on June 22nd or a later date if we do not have the pool completely filled and the chemical on hand. That we have 2 sessions as outlined in the material, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, that we start a phased approach where we only allow 90 people. We will have 90 chairs throughout the summer. We will get rid of the other 90, 91, whatever it is. We'll only have 90 chairs throughout the summer, that we will adopt 144 square feet that was given to us in a prior meeting. And did I give the amount on the startup? The startup, I would say that the startup expense will not exceed $56,505. So you would be responsible for doing the concession, all of the other stuff that we have. And in that opening, we would have reserved time for classes using proper hygiene and distancing, the water walking from 12:30 to 1, I believe. 12 to 12:30, I'm sorry. 12 to 1. And then the 2 sessions, and we would allow swim team practice mornings by arrangement. There would be no parties until we know we've got a good handle and we have good results. That's my motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, there's been moved and seconded. We are open for discussion.
I call for the question.
Okay. All those in favor of opening the swimming pool with the detail that has been laid out in the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Oh, it passes 2 to 1. We will work this. If we have a problem in the phased approach, we'll obviously have to deal with it. But if we don't have a problem, we can keep going forward. You will put your order in, and from there, we will know. Wayne will be able to communicate with you on when we can start filling the pool, and we missed some of the heating of the last week, but we're only gonna have a cool day one time. We're gonna get back up, so we'll heat up, and you have $56,505 to get going.
What's your standard for, I mean, opening up to parties? What do you think is acceptable, Mayor? I mean,
I have no standard. My motion was we will have no parties till we see what's going on.
okay.
And at that point, if we see we're having a problem, or we have cases, we may have no parties. If we see we have it, then we will set a party standard and grant another motion to have parties. That's why I said no parties right now.
Okay.
Wayne?
Oh, that's all right.
We should have one more motion on the VGB grates that we need to purchase before we can fill the pool. Did you include that in the packet?
I emailed it out to them, but
Okay.
it's not actually on there. Let me pull that up.
It's a purchase that needs to be made
Yeah,
to
I
be in
know, I
compliance
know.
with the VGB.
I was expecting to see it here, and I didn't see anything.
It's about $6,084.
To fill the pool.
I thought you were gonna print it out in Word format and give it to
Oh,
them.
I thought you were.
Okay,
Sorry.
neither one of you are good thinkers. Okay,
So is that
I would
told you
like
to do
to, I would like to move that we buy the necessary grates for the swimming pool not to exceed $6,200.
Is that included in startup?
No.
No,
Yes.
no, it's capital improvements.
That's capital.
Yeah,
And then they have to be in before you guys open. It's
yeah,
required.
okay.
Okay.
I move that we buy the necessary grates for the swimming pool out of capital improvements for $6,200.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, input from Janetta. Come on down, Vanna.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about the transfer. In 2020, we budgeted a transfer from the general fund into the swimming pool fund at $180,000. Kyle's document indicates that he would only need $113,077.30. I don't know what the commission wants to hold off on that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
you would only transfer, an around number, maybe $60,000 to cover what this 56,505, and then we'll
And
take a
we've-
look at what we need
We've
elsewhere.
already transferred 60,000 of that 180, so we'll
Okay,
just
so we
hold
don't
off.
need to do anything right
We'll hold
now,
off till we see where we're at
okay?
for the end of the
When he
year.
gets the bills in for,
Yeah, all right, thank you.
And just so you know, there's over $366,000 in that fund, so
I know, but that's for future repair,
just, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Ask for any question of clarification or anything? Well, all those in favor of ordering the grates, say aye. Aye. It's unanimous on that one. So will nobody go down the sewer? Okay. Did you have a question, Kyle?
The grades was what I was wanting to make sure it was brought up.
Okay. We were gonna have scuba divers holding plates in place while people were there. It's a good training. Maybe they'll become SEALs.
How long will those grates take to get in? Have you talked to them?
We've gotten a rough, they said about 10 days, so if we can order today, we should get them next week, early next week, hopefully,
Before you fill?
before we fill. And the chlorine's gonna come in about the same time, so it'll happen pretty quick when it all comes in.
So
Fire
that-
department's been contacted, VPD's been contacted, so.
Yeah.
So
As
that
soon as we
leaves
have
you-
chlorine in grades, we'll fill.
That leaves you 4 days to get the pool warmed up a little bit.
Yep.
Can that happen?
It's never warmed up when we open normally usually,
Okay.
but I imagine with warm weather, it actually will be warmer.
We'll
in a
have
few
more
days.
opportunity to spread the virus because there'll be more time on the deck. I don't know. We're all right. We'll open. I will tell you that Lindsberg changed their mind and they appear to be opening now. So we'll see what happens with this. But I am serious. If things go well, we're going to keep the phased approach going. If they're not going well, we're going to put a break on the phased opening, or maybe say this is not working. But we'll give it an opportunity. If you don't win a state championship, I'm coming after you, EJ.
Thank you.
All right, what else do we have?
The only other issue I had is we were gonna review whether we would continue with the policy here.
Oh, the COVID related.
As it relates to this building, whether you wanted to open it up or whether you wanted to continue to go out as we're going currently.
I would like to leave the doorbells in place, but let's try and see what happens with taking the signs down, allow people to come in. My only question is, even if they come in, do you still want to check their temperature?
It will be tough when people walk in and go wherever they want to be able to track temperatures, so.
Can we put a sign that you have to check in at the desk and somebody checks their temperature?
We can do that, and we can see how it works, but
Yeah, let's try it and see. And the other thing that we need to know is we need to know who came in here in case we have some exposure, then we know who to trap.
so we'll put signs up at the door that say they need to go to the front desk to sign in
Yeah,
and get your temperature checked.
correct,
And you may be asked to leave if your temperature exceeds a certain
Right.
amount.
right,
Okay.
yeah. I did not require a temperature check for the swimming pool. I had two guys come down on discuss a future development here, and they only walked from their car to the door and checked their temperature. They were 102 and 103. Went ahead and let them in. Within a couple of minutes, they were down to a whole degree to 99.2. I assume if I waited another couple of minutes, they would have been down to 98.6. But we did, all of us in the meeting, wear masks just to be safe. Did not hit any standards of conduct, which was non-intentional, that the city attorney prepared. But is there anything that you want to highlight in that document that we have not taken to meet a standard of care?
I know of nothing that you have done that would not meet the standard of care that would be applicable, and I would also note that on Thursday or Friday, it was Friday, the governor signed an immunity for negligence, which is just another layer on it. I always hate to make liability the standard. You've gone above what I believe the standard would be legally.
Okay, I thought that too, so that's why I didn't bring it up, but I meant to anyhow, and
I figured you want to sleep halfway through that opinion, so,
I did.
okay.
I didn't want to say that though, but you forced me to it.
You asked for it.
Yeah, I know, I asked for it. Once I got what I asked for.
So on the motion for this building, then we do it effective
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, does that
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, I would like to move that we